The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at the paper. Two signatures, two people who once promised forever and now stranger. But the stranger thing was Taekook stood there quietly, his finger trembling around the pen. Across the room stood John Jungkook, billionaire CEO, face cold, sharp suit, unreachable, but his eyes were fixed only on Taehoon, as if he was trying to remember something he already lost. The judge spoke calmly. Judge, Mr. Jeon Jungkook, Mr. Kim Taehoon, do both of you agree to this divorce? There's throat tightened for a moment. He wanted to say no, but Jungkook didn't look at him. His pride stood taller than his heart. Jungkook spoke first. Jungkook, yes. That one word felt like a. The judge turned. Judge, Mr. Kim Tae-hung? Tae-hung slowly nodded. Tae-hung, yes. And just like that, their marriage ended. But what no one knew was that their story was not over yet because Tae-hung was hiding something. Flashback 2 years earlier, their marriage started with love, real love, not business, not contract. Jungkook loved Taehyung since the moment they met. Taehyung was bright, playful, stubborn. He wasn't afraid of Jungkook's power, and that made Jungkook forever hardened. But there was one person who hated their marriage, Jungkook's younger sister Honey. She never accepted Taehyung, not even once, because she wanted Jungkook to marry her rich friend Yona, and Honey never stopped creating problems. Jeon mentioned one evening, Jungkook entered the living room after a long day. His tie was loose, his face tired. Honey was sitting on the sofa, scrolling her phone. She looked up immediately. Honey, oh, Oppa, you came home late again? Jungkook sighed. Jungkook woke. Honey smirked. Honey, or avoiding your husband. Jungkook eyes turned sharp. Jungkook, what's your word, honey? Honey leaned back lazily. Honey, I'm just saying the truth. Jungkook stayed silent, but Honey continued. Honey, Oppa, you are a billionaire. Oppa, you are a billionaire, see, Honey, yet your husband works as a secretary in another company. Honey, do you know what people say about you? Jungkook jaw tightened. Jungkook, I don't care what people say. Honey laughed mockingly. Honey, of course you don't. Honey, but they say your husband doesn't respect you. Honey, why work under another's you when his husband owns half the city? Jungkook was turned colder. Jungkook, Taehoon work because he wants to. Honey, or maybe he likes being close to that CEO Jin. Jungkook slammed his glass on the table. Jungkook, enough! Honey smiled sweetly. Honey, oh, Oppa, why are you angry? Honey, I'm just worried. Honey, Oppa, Taehyung never give you time. He always at Jin office. Maybe he likes that place more than his own home. Jungkook stood up slowly. His eyes were dark. Jungkook, shut up. Honey titled her head. Honey, you always defend him, honey, but one day you all realize I was right. Jungkook pointed at the door. Jungkook, get out of my sight. Honey shrugged, but a small smile appeared on her face because she knows something. She knew if she kept pushing, and slowly they did. Jin company then was working late, feels everywhere. His best friend Jin looked at him worried. Jin, they go home. Then sighed. Then there too much work. Jin crossed his arms. Jin, you are avoiding Jungkook. Then look away. Then we argued again yesterday. Jin forward. Jin, about what? Then sighed deeply. Then work. Then honey. Everything. Jin shook his head. Jin, oh, that girl is. Tehung laughed sadly. I fight with her too. Maybe I'm also part of the problem. Jin spoke softly. Jin, no. The problem is that both of you are too stubborn. Tehung smiled weakly. Tehung maybe, but deep inside Tehung was scared because Jungkook was slowly changing, becoming colder, distant, and every fight hurt more than the last. The breaking point one night, the argument became worse than ever. Rain was hitting the window. Tehung stood in the living room. Jungkook stood across from him, both exhausted, both angry. Jungkook, why? Why are you always at Jin office? Then because I work there. Jungkook, you? You didn't need to. Then I want to. Jungkook ran his hand through his hair. Jungkook, you? You barely came home anymore. Tehung voice broke. Tehung, you are never here either. Silence filled the room. Jungkook spoke quietly. Jungkook, maybe we are rush this marriage. Tehung heart dropped. Tehung, what are you saying? Jungkook looked away. Jungkook, maybe we should. He pulled, but pride finished the sentence. Jungkook divorced. The word echoed. Tehung felt like the world stopped. Tehung, you? You want a divorce? Jungkook clenched his fists. Jungkook, the truth was he didn't want it, but he didn't know how to fix them either. Jungkook, maybe it's better. Tehung I filled with tears, but he forced a small smile. Tehung, okay. Jungkook looked shocked. Jungkook, you? You agree so easily? Tehung whispered. Tehung, if that's what you want. And that night both of them cried, but in different rooms. Back to present, after divorce, Tehung walked out of the courthouse alone. His heart empty, his hand slowly moved to his stomach because earlier that morning he saw the hospital reports and it said something that changed everything. Tehung whispered, Tehung, Jungkook. Tears fell down his cheeks. Tehung, you are going to be a father, but Jungkook would never know because Tehung made a decision. He whispered softly. And Tehung, I won't ruin your life again. So Tehung left the city, left the memories, left the man he still loved. 2 years later, Jungkook became colder, richer, more powerful, but never happier. One night, he finally discovered the truth. Honey message, her lie, her Manipulation. Jungkook slammed the table. Jungkook, you? You destroy my marriage? Honey tried to laugh it off. Honey, Oppa, it was for your own good. Jungkook, get out. Honey frozen. Jungkook, you are leaving this country tomorrow. Honey, Oppa, Jungkook, don't ever call me that again. And after that, Jungkook searched for Taehyung everywhere, but he couldn't find him until one day during a business trip in a quiet park. Jungkook suddenly frozen because across the street he saw someone familiar, someone he never stopped loving, Kim Taehyung, but Taehyung wasn't alone. A small boy was holding his hand. The child looked up and laughed, and Jungkook had to stop it because the boy had his eyes. Same bright smile eyes, some bunny smile. Jungkook whispered in shock, Jungkook, Taehyung? Taehyung slowly turned, their eyes met. 2 years of pain between them. Jungkook looked at the child again, then back at Jungkook. His voice trembled. Jungkook, you had my child? Taehyung answered quietly. Taehyung, you had already signed the divorce papers. Jungkook felt the world spin because suddenly he realized something terrifying. He didn't just lose a husband, he lost 2 years of his child life, and a little boy looked up curiously. Boy, Appa, who is that man? Jungkook heartbroken because the child didn't know him at all, and Taehyung whispered softly, Taehyung, his name is Jungkook. The boy blinked. Boy, oh, then he smiled innocently. The evening air in the park was quiet, but Jungkook's heart was racing like a storm. Across from him stood the man he had loved for years, and beside him, a small boy with bright eyes, a boy who looked exactly like him. Jungkook slowly stepped closer. His eyes never left the child. The boy was holding Taehyung's hand tightly as if Taehyung was his whole world. Jungkook whispered, Jungkook, Taehyung? His name, Taehyung answered calmly, Taehyung, Taemin. The name hit Jungkook softly, Taemin, his son. But Taemin didn't know that yet. Taemin looked up curiously at Jungkook. Taemin, Papa, why is that man staring at me? Taehyung gently patted the boy's head. Taehyung, he's just an old friend. The word friend hurt Jungkook more than anything because once he was Taehyung's entire world. Now he was just a stranger. Jungkook spoke carefully. Jungkook, can we talk? Taehyung stayed silent for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. Taehyung, Taemin, go play on the slide. Taemin happily ran towards the playground. Jungkook watched him go. His chest felt tight. 2 years he had missed, 2 years of his son's life. Jungkook finally spoke. Jungkook, why didn't you tell me? Taehyung looked away. Taehyung, you? You asked for a towel. Jungkook, that doesn't mean. Taehyung interpreted him. Taehyung, you signed the paper without hesitation. His voice was quiet but full of pain. Taehyung, why better tell someone who didn't want me anymore. Jungkook felt his throat close because Taehyung was right. He had let pride destroy everything. Taehyung, Jungkook whispered. Jungkook, I searched for you. Taehyung looked at him. Jungkook continued. Jungkook, after I found out the truth, Taehyung frowned slightly. Taehyung, truth? Jungkook clenched his fist. Jungkook, honey. Taehyung's expression changed. Jungkook spoke slowly. Jungkook, everything, the fights, the misunderstandings, it was all her plan. Taehyung's eyes widened. Jungkook, she kept feeding me lies. Jungkook, about you and Jin? Taehyung shook his head. Taehyung, I never. Jungkook, I know. His voice cracked. I know now. The wind moved softly between them. Jungkook looked down. Jungkook, I punish her. Taehyung blinked. I sent her abroad, and then I tried to find you. His eyes lifted again, but you disappeared. Taehyung's expression softened slightly. Taehyung, I thought you move on. Jungkook laughed bitterly. Jungkook, move on? From you? He shook his head. That was impossible. Silence fell between them again. Then Taemin ran back happily. Taemin, Appa. He hugged Taehyung's leg. Taemin, can we get ice cream? Taehyung smiled gently. Taehyung, okay. Taemin suddenly looked at Jungkook. Taemin, mister, do you want ice cream too? Jungkook frozen. The boy was talking to him. Jungkook nodded slowly. Yes, I do. Taemin smiled brightly. Then come with us. Taehyung looked uncertain, but Taemin had already grabbed Jungkook's hand. Taemin, let's go. Jungkook's heart trembled because this was the first time his son held his hand, even if Taemin didn't know the truth yet. Taemin happily sat between them, eating chocolate ice cream. His face was messy. Taehyung wiped his mouth gently. Taehyung, slow down. Taemin giggled. Taemin, Appa. You always say that. Jungkook watched them quietly. His chest felt warm. This was the family he lost, and he wanted it back more than anything. Taemin suddenly looked at Jungkook. Taemin, mister, do you have kids? Jungkook looked at Taehyung. Then at Taemin, his voice became soft. Jungkook, yes. Taemin blinked. Taemin, where? Jungkook smiled sadly. Jungkook, he is sitting right in front of me. Taemin looked confused. Taehyung kicked Jungkook under the table. Taehyung, don't confuse him. Taemin laughed anyway. Taemin, oh, you are funny, mister. Jungkook, maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. That night, Taehyung's apartment, after Taemin fell asleep. The apartment became quiet. Taehyung stood by the window. Jungkook stood behind him. The distance between them felt heavy. Jungkook finally spoke. Jungkook, let me stay. Taehyung frowned. Taehyung, what? Jungkook, let me be part of his life. Taehyung crossed his arms. Taehyung, you can visit him. Jungkook shook his head. That night, Jungkook not just visit. Jungkook slowly stepped closer. Jungkook, I want to be his father. Taehyung voice trembled. Taehyung, you lost that right when you divorced me. Jungkook's eyes filled with regret. Jungkook, then let me earn it back. Taehyung stayed silent. Jungkook whispered, Jungkook, I'll do anything. The room became very quiet. Taehyung looked at him. Taehyung, anything? Jungkook nodded. Jungkook, anything. Taehyung sighed. Taehyung then started apologizing. Jungkook immediately spoke. I'm sorry, Taehyung blinked. Jungkook stepped closer. I'm sorry I didn't trust you. I'm sorry I let my pride destroy our marriage. And I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me. Taehyung's eyes became watery. Jungkook whispered, Jungkook, but I still love you. That confession made Taehyung's heart sick. Jungkook continued softly, Jungkook, I never stop it. Taehyung's voice cracked. Taehyung, you hurt me? Jungkook nodded slowly. Jungkook, I know. Then he gently took Taehyung's hand. Jungkook, let me fix it. Taehyung tried to pull away, but Jungkook held his hand carefully, not forcefully, just warm. Jungkook, please, Tete. Hearing that old nickname again made Taehyung weak. Taehyung whispered, Taehyung, you are still stubborn. Jungkook smiled softly. Jungkook, only for you. Their face slowly moved closer. The tension between them felt electric. Taehyung's heartbeat was loud. Jungkook gently touched Taehyung's cheek. Jungkook, can I you? Taehyung looked into his eyes, and after 2 long years, he nodded. Jungkook leaned forward slowly. Their finally met, soft, warm, and familiar. That was gentle at first, then deeper. The 2 years of longing melting away. Taehyung grabbed Jungkook's shirt. Jungkook whispered his arms around him. When they finally separated, both of them were breathing heavily. Taehyung whispered, Taehyung, you idiot. Jungkook smiled. Jungkook, you're idiot. Taehyung laughed softly, and for the first time in years, the pain between them started fading. 1 month later, a small garden, white flower everywhere. Taemin ran around happily. Taemin shouted excitedly, Taemin, Appa, Mr. Jungkook is wearing a suit. Taehyung laughed. Taehyung, yes, he is. Taemin tattled his head. Taemin, why? Jungkook walked over. He came down in front of Taemin. Jungkook, because today I am marrying your Appa again. Taemin gasped. Taemin, really? Jungkook smiled. Jungkook, really? Taemin suddenly hugged him. Taemin, then you are my daddy now. Jungkook's expression became weird. Jungkook, if you want me to be? Taemin nodded. excitedly, Taemin, yes. Taehyung watched the moment with a warm heart. Soon the small ceremony began. Jungkook gently held Taehyung's hands. Jungkook spoke softly. Jungkook, this time I promise I never let you go. Taehyung smiled. Taehyung, you better not. Taehyung answered gently. Taehyung, you two went in front of their son. They again. Taemin covered his eyes dramatically. Taehyung, both of them laughed. Jungkook picked Taehyung up playfully. Taehyung, bless. Taehyung, put me down, Jungkook. Jungkook and Jungkook never. Taemin giggled. Taemin, Daddy loves Appa. Jungkook hugged both of them tightly because this time he wasn't losing his family again, and Taehyung rested his head on Jungkook's shoulder, finally feeling safe, finally home.